Testing. There we go. All right. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming to the Planning Commission hearing. Let's start with our call to order and roll call. Can we let the record reflect that all 5 commissioners are present? And if you'd please join me with the Pledge of Allegiance. Okay, oral communications is an opportunity for the public to address the commission on items that are not on the agenda tonight. And each person will be given 3 minutes. I don't think there's any speaker slips currently.
No speakers.
Okay, so having no oral communications, we'll move on to changes to the agenda. Did I do this? Or? Okay. Are there any changes to the agenda? Mr.
Yeah, I'd like to pull the Trudy and Weston residents from consent.
Okay. I think we can just do that. So that will be done. With that, we'll move into the consent item. Before we go too far into that, I'd like to read a statement. It's not a statement. I'd like to announce that the staff report regarding Blackford states that the project will be heard on March 19th, but in fact, that needs to be another date. The staff recommends opening and continuing this hearing until May 7th. All right. Okay, and if more time is needed on May 7th, then it could be continued again at that time. Okay.
Yeah, so you would need to, so this is item 6B, and you would need to have a motion to continue the item to May 7th?
Before we do that, question, if we continue it, does today count as a meeting on the subject if we open it up, or?
It's not a density bonus. It's
Oh, so there's no meeting
oversized
count?
garage.
Okay, just
Correct.
making sure.
Yeah.
I'll move to continue to May 7th.
okay.
I'll second that.
Okay, so we're going to call the vote on approving the consent calendar with the 2 items. Item 8D, the Tudry residents, and item 8E, the Weston, item 6C and 6D are going to be pulled from the consent. All other items are on it, with a modification that 6B will be heard May 7th. And that was the motion I heard? Okay, I'll call the vote, or I'll catch up to the vote. I don't have a screen.
His voting screen's not on to vote on it.
Same. I've got.
Okay. I haven't voted.
Oh, I updated it. Sorry. that's
Oh,
why
you caught our votes.
Sorry, yeah.
Okay. So did that pass 5-0? Okay.
I did, yeah.
Okay, with that, we will move to item 6C, the Weston residence, Lot 15. This is case number CDP 007724-2024. Bob, you pulled this from the consent. Do you need a staff report?
I would. This is something new for me. This is a house and an ADU, and it was related to the La Costa 48, and I just wanted to see how those interacted with each other.
Okay. And just to be clear, maybe the staff will clarify this, this is a CDP application alone, not a DRP, a design review permit.
Right.
Okay. Sorry. Megan?
Yep. Good evening, Chair and members of the Planning Commission. My name is Megan McElfish, and I'm presenting the Coastal Development Permit request for the Weston residence located at 2087 West Pearl Street. The project proposal is for a coastal development permit for the construction of a new single-family home with an attached garage and detached accessory dwelling unit on a vacant lot. The site is located on and is part of the La Costa 48 subdivision. The project site has been the subject of several previously approved discretionary entitlements. In 2019, the application for a tentative map for a 48-lot subdivision, density bonus, design review, coastal development permit, grading, and environmental document were reviewed and approved by the city. In 2021, the California Coastal Commission appealed the city's coastal development permit and approved a CDP with additional conditions. In 2022, the Planning Commission approved a modification to the 2019 approval to reflect the Coastal Commission revisions. In 2024, a design review and coastal development permit were approved by the Planning Commission for the construction of 42 single-family homes, along with landscaping, trail improvements, and other site improvements. This project's density development standards, including density bonus waivers and concessions, grading, and environmental review, were established through these prior approvals. That scope of work is currently under construction and is not subject to further review. This project requests approval of a coastal development permit to allow for the construction of a new 2,050 square foot, one-story single-family residence containing 3 bedrooms and 3.5 bathrooms, and an attached 545 square foot 2-car garage and a 440 square foot attached patio. In addition, the project includes a 400 square foot detached accessory dwelling unit with 1 bedroom and 1 bathroom. The Planning Commission is the authorized agency for reviewing and granting discretionary approvals for proposed development in the Hillside Inland Bluff Overlay Zone. The Planning Commission is being asked to consider a coastal development permit. No other discretionary permits are being requested or required for the proposed scope of work. Here is the project site plan. As part of the prior approvals, a 30-foot public access trail along the eastern edge of the project site was recorded in 2022. Additionally, a steep slope open space easement along the eastern edge of the project site was recorded in 2023. No encroachments are proposed within the easement area or the trail area, and all steep slope areas will continue to be preserved as open space consistent with the recorded revisions. Here are the front and rear elevations. The proposed color palette and material selections include a brown concrete tile roof, tan cement plaster wall finishes, and white stone veneer accents. Here are the south and north side elevations. A citizen participation plan meeting was held on March 4th, 2025, and no comments were received regarding this project. Additionally, the public notice was mailed out on February 19th, 2026, and no comments were received. The project is consistent with the previously approved environmental impact report. However, the project has also been found to be exempt from environmental review pursuant to Section 15303A of the CEQA guidelines. Section 15303A exempts the construction of one single-family residence and accessory dwelling unit in a residential zone. Staff recommends that the Planning Commission adopt the draft resolution of approval, including the modification to the CEQA determination that was presented in the previous slide, based upon the findings in the staff report. This concludes my presentation, and the applicant and myself are available for any questions.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any questions of from the commissioners or the staff?
Thank you. I have a few.
That's your cue.
Thank you. Thank you, Megan, for that. So the Planning Commission's already approved the single-family residence, the permit for development back in 2024, is that correct? For this house, this is not part of the Toll Brothers development. This is a separate parcel, correct?
This is a separate parcel. So the Toll Brothers development was for 42 single-family homes. 6 lots were left vacant. This is one of those 6 that were left vacant.
And the size of the unit is 400 square feet. Is that technically a JADU, or is it an ADU, and what would be the difference in the codes?
It's an ADU because it's detached from the main residence. A JADU is within the single-family residence.
Okay.
Could I interrupt?
Yeah, please.
Just interject about the ADU. Could you clarify, is an ADU a by right approval? Are we reviewing the ADU, or is that considered a by right thing?
Sure. Andrew Mader, Plan Manager. So the ADU is by right, technically it's a ministerial action. The city does technically have to issue a coastal development permit as part of that ADU, but it is a by right ministerial process in terms of review for CEQA as well.
Thank you.
And is that because they're applying for a vacant lot with a house and the ADU at the same time? Is that put into a different category?
No, it's still technically ministerial action. We just carried these two kind of actions together rather than the applicant having to do two separate coastal development permits. So that's kind of the difference.
And the code is a 4-foot rear setback or 5?
So state law allows a 4-foot side and rear yard. In this case, pull this back up. There is a 25-foot rear yard bluff setback. So this property is actually 34 feet from the rear property line. The ADU is 34 feet.
Okay, 34 feet from the property line, I get that, but 4 feet from the top of the bluff, and so they're using a state law versus the city code, which is 5 feet?
It's 4 feet.
It's 4 feet regardless?
Yeah.
Okay, from the top of the bluff?
Yes.
Okay. On page 8 of the staff report, it says the project was within 1/2 mile of the North Coast Highway and La Costa bus stop, and there's no additional parking space required for the ADU. Under the other site, under the Trudy site, it's mentioned that there is a major, to be located within a transit-oriented development site or a high transit site has to be defined as a major site. So can you, I'm probably conflating the two together, but does this qualify as a major, does this bus stop qualify as a major stop? And what is the definition of major under the code?
So for accessory dwelling units, it's just a transit stop. A major transit stop doesn't apply to ADUs, so maybe that's just a misinformation within kind of the staff report, but it's just a transit stop. The only major transit stop would be the train station. That's the only major transit stop within the city of Encinitas.
Okay, so here it says it's near a transit stop, and so that just is defined as a bus stop.
Correct.
Okay, so when we get to the other one, I think there's a reference to a major stop on the Trudy site, so we'll come back. That's what I was confused on. We'll come back to that.
And just to clarify on your last question for the bluff's edge setback, the ADU is setback 4 feet from that 25-foot bluff edge setback. If that
Okay,
makes
so
sense.
it's not 4 feet from the, okay,
Exactly.
perfect, thank you. On page, in the staff report page, let me just get to the page at the bottom. Page 9 of 104, there's a reference to the EIR from the, we'll call it the La Costa 48. This is the last sentence under Scenic and Visual Corridor Overlay Zone. There's multiple references to the EIR, the prior EIR, and also I'll get to the resolution. But I find it helpful if in the future, if it's possible to reference the actual EIR that we approved in the sections that you're calling from. You call in section, EMC section 30.34.080, and if this project meets the design requirements listed in the overlay zone as part of the previously approved EIR, there are no significant effects and impacts per the project scope. It's mentioned quite a few times, and it's also mentioned in the resolution. If I'm first time reading this, I'd have to read the entire EIR to try to find where this section is not applicable. So maybe it's just the way the staff report works, but I'd have to read a 1,000-page EIR to be able to cross-reference it. So a lot of it is just for me to read in terms of going back and looking at the cross-reference to the EIR, because there are some scope requirements in the hazardous materials or the hazmat component that again references the EIR but doesn't give you a section reference to the EIR. So that's just me. That also pops up on page 10 of 104 under the section Environmental Conditions. This is important, I think, because it says compliance with mitigation, monitoring, and reporting, MMRP, and the mitigations remain required for the project as referred to in the Environmental Impact Report. Well, the environmental impact report had a bunch of mitigations, which they get to on the cover page of A1.2 of the plans, so where they list the mitigations, but this doesn't list the mitigations here. And I think that's important when we're talking about a site that has hazardous mitigation requirements. And I think it comes up again on compliance on page 11. It's number 2, it's compliance with mitigation monitoring report. And then again on page, my reference is page 13, where you begin resolution number PC 2026-11, where on the very first page in the middle it says compliance with the mitigation and monitoring reports and the mitigations remain required for this project. That's kind of significant for a single-family home to have mitigation requirements. So given the fact that this was a former growing field, and I think the EIR was really critical about where you're going to bury that stuff, and we had a long debate about that, of where it was going to go. And I think going down to page 52 of 104, it says Planning Commission certified the environmental impact report is complete through resolution PC 1908. So again, there's lots of references to it, but not a lot of references to the section requirements, where there's lots of other references to various sections before. Grading plans. We're not approving a grading plan at this point, are we?
No, it's
No.
just the coastal development permit.
Okay. Because that would be where the mitigation kicks in. And again, going to the design that begins, I guess it's the plan, what is this, the last, trying to find, it's not really numbered in the staff report, but it's during the designs pages of the project? The project plans? Yes, thank you, sorry. Let me go to the project plans. So the project plans talks about numbers has-1, has-2, has-3, has-4. So they've called out their mitigation. Where, or do we normally call out in a resolution that we mirror these mitigation measures?
If I may jump in, my name is Christina Bustamante, Senior Planner. The mitigation measures that you're referring to, they would be enforced at the post-discretionary phase. So during documentation of the grading permit, things like that, we have essentially covered this project by saying it's in compliance with that. So it's given that the project will comply with the mitigation measures that are in that EIR. But additionally, the statement that Megan had made earlier during the presentation was that this particular lot, being a single-family home being developed, would also fit an exemption, a CEQA exemption. So we're covered in 2 different ways.
So we have an EIR, but you're saying that the site is CEQA exempt, and we have the developer or the applicant saying that they have mitigation requirements in 14, 15, 16 has 1, 2, 3, and 4. You're saying that they don't have to do that?
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that we're doubling up a little bit. There's a CEQA exemption that's there that we could apply, and there's also these mitigation measures that we could apply to the site. But that these mitigation measures, they get implemented during the grading permit review portion of this project, which is not something that we would have delved into at this particular point.
So it's not in the resolution that they have to abide by the EIR? Or is it, I just missed it?
Yeah, so the environmental determination that was written in your staff report, it essentially says that the project is complying with that EIR. So they're not adding to, they're not taking away, they're going to comply with that EIR.
And the terms and conditions of compliance are in the EIR?
Correct.
Okay. So you're saying they're married together because by approving the project, so it's in the resolution that they have to comply to the EIR. And the hazardous materials components of 1, 2, 3, and 4, which are the mitigation measures, are therefore inferred or implied.
Yes.
Okay?
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
if we make the commissioner happy, it could be, the resolution could be beefed up a little bit in that regard. The planners are correct. There are two bases that the environmental review are done, and so you're both talking about environmental and CEQA issues. The planning staff is talking more about how have they addressed CEQA. You're asking a very pointed question of how does the resolution make sure that it's clear to the applicant and the world that the EIR, MMRP, and conditions need to be complied with?
Right.
We can put that as a sentence in the resolution to address your concerns if the commission.
What does the chair have to say?
I might suggest, when they put these conditions in their drawings, the applicant is acknowledging that they are aware of the mitigation measures by printing them in there. So you're wondering, are they even, you're concerned that they don't even know that they're on the hook for some of these mitigation measures, and they've printed into their plans, which you're approving. And so that becomes the document that the city would enforce, right? Here's your building plans. You said you would do, measures X, Y, and Z. And
I get it. They're coupled together. It just doesn't seem clear that in the resolution that they are linked clearly. I mean, it's no big deal. I mean, if the rules are that, are we acknowledging that they have acknowledged that they're going to do 1, 2, 3, and 4 by us approving this in the resolution that we have?
yeah, these are the plans that they are going to be held to, right? So they can't back away after the fact and say, oh, I'm not going to do these measures. We say, well, look, it's in the plans. You said you would do it. So clearly, they know that they have to do them.
Is there anything missing from staff's position on 1, 2, 3, and 4? Are those consistent with the EIR?
Those are consistent. And I also want to reference back to condition A05. It references all the conditions of approval associated with the previous subdivision they're still in full force and effect too as well. So it's
What page was that, Andrew?
Page 17, condition A05.
All right, let me get up there real quick. Sorry, slow computer. And you're comfortable that the A05 references and ties in properly with has 1 through 4?
That's correct. That ties in that full kind of EIR document as well.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. That's all I got.
Okay. Thank you for that. The applicant is here. Would the applicant like to address the commission?
Hello, I'm Bart Smith, architect with DZM Partners, the architect on the Weston residence. The 6 lots that are left over from the 42 lots that the Toll Brothers are developing are all owned by the Weston family, the original property owners. And this lot the property line of this lot is actually quite a bit farther down the hill, but there's an open space, a significant open space on it. And the ADU is 4 feet from an 8-foot-high sound wall, so it won't have a significant impact on views or anything like that. You'll barely be able to see it. And all the mitigation environmentally has already been completed by the Toll Brothers, been approved by the Department of Environmental Health. So I don't know that we put those measures on our plans because we were asked to, but I don't think that this project or the Tutory project actually has to do any kind of pesticide or any other kind of environmental measures. It hasn't been, we've already kind of concurrently processed our grading plan, and those kind of elements have not been brought to the forefront by the city. So, and these are custom single-family dwellings. They're exempt from design review. So that's just what we wanted to say. And if I'm available for questions.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions of the applicant?
Yes. And maybe staff, maybe I'm wrong, but wasn't there a reference to opening up a voluntary action plan?
What's a voluntary action plan?
It's a voluntary action plan for environmental remediation is you open up with the, if I'm correct, the County of San Diego Department of Environmental
Health. Yeah, Toll Brothers has done that and already concluded it.
Okay, so is it referenced in the staff report that they have to do a VAP? I just want to be clear. I don't want to approve something that it's in the document.
Commissioner Prendergast, I can confirm the Toll Brothers had taken care of that during their development phase of the project. And so this particular property is not required to do additional work on top of that.
So there's no, did I miss it wrong that there's no VAP required?
There's not of this particular lot or property owner. So that's already been handled and taken care of.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I'm going to close the public comment portion of the hearing and open it up to commissioner deliberations. I will start with you, Bob. You pulled it from the consent, and I'll just say, in this questioning, have you satisfied the concerns that you had? I was not concerned about the project and was happy for it to be on consent. So do any other commissioners have concerns regarding this project? Seeing none, I would entertain a motion.
I'll move to approve the project.
Okay,
I'm happy to second.
I'll second.
thank you. Can we call the vote? Okay, that passes 5-0. The next item is the Trudery residence, item 6D. In the interest of time, Bob, were your concerns on this one similar to this?
They were,
last one?
yes, Chair, they were answered, and I just had a question regarding the item on page 7 of 108, where it says, one parking space required for an accessory dwelling unit not within 0.5 miles of a major transit stop. And that was where the reference to what the definition of a major stop is versus just a transit stop in the other report.
I think that was just an error in the staff report. Like we stated earlier, it's just a bus stop that meets that requirement.
Okay? Thank you. That was it.
Okay. Could I make a motion then that we approve this item?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay, and I'll second that. I'll call the vote. Okay, that passes 5-0. Okay, excuse me a quick second. Okay, next item is our regular agenda items 8A. This is the election of a chair and vice chair. I'll take a quick moment to recognize our two newest commissioners, Commissioner Kimball and Commissioner Quinn. Thank you very much for volunteering for this position, and we look forward to working with you on the commission. Our next item will be to vote for, I think we'll do it in two parts. We will nominate and vote for a chair, and then we'll nominate and vote for a vice chair.
Oh, I'd like to nominate Steve Dalton to continue his role as chair.
Oh, thank you very much.
I would definitely support that,
Okay,
and I'm happy to be a second on that. He's done a very fine job as far as I have been here, leading the commission He's very well-rounded. He's very open to all suggestions. He's very complete, and he's making sure that every aspect of our commission is covering every base, and certainly has been doing a very fine job. So, thank you.
Thank you for the vote of confidence.
Yeah, I echo that. I mean, you run an honest, open, and fair hearing, and you give everybody a chance, and we've made concessions to the public when they need to come back up and talk about something that they're passionate about, and you give everybody a chance to speak and be heard, and you're very thoughtful, and your insights on your career as an architect are really valuable. When we look at some of the nitty-gritty on some of these things, it really does require expertise that you have, and it's very much appreciated.
Okay, thank you for that. I will entertain other nominations, or we can call a vote, because I love the way this is going all night.
You run an efficient meeting from what I've watched in the past, so that's always very important in a chair.
Thank you for that. Okay, let's call the vote then. Thank you, and that passes 5-0, so I will continue on as the chair. Our next item is to appoint or nominate and appoint a vice chair. And I'd like to speak up for Bob Prendergast. You've got some seniority and tenure on the commission, and you've dive into the detail, and I think you'd be a great vice chair to lead the commission when I'm not here.
Thank you.
I would support that with a motion to elect Bob as our vice chair.
Okay.
Commissioner Pendergrass, he also does a very thorough job, as you've obviously just witnessed. Very detail-oriented. He has a lot of experience and knowledge about the various aspects of the projects that come in front of us, and he's very open to everyone's contribution, and does a fine job in communicating. And I think would, in our chair's absence, would do a very good job leading us through meetings.
Thank you, Brad.
Okay. Seeing any further discussion, or?
No,
Yeah.
no further
It's-
discussion. It sounds very good to me.
Good. All right, let's call the vote then.
Thank you both.
All right, and that passes 5-0. You're welcome. All right, our next item tonight is item 8B. This is the Encinitas Brewing Company, case number multi-008075, 2025. And with that, I will ask for the staff report. Rafi?
Sure. Good evening, Chair, Commissioners, staff, members of the public. It is my pleasure to present to you tonight an application for Encinitas Brewing Company, case number multi-008075, 2025, use permit 008102, 2025, design review 008103, 2025, and CDP 008104, 2025. Project is located at 1588 Leucadia Boulevard. It is within the new Encinitas community, and it's currently zoned Encinitas Ranch, specific plan, commercial ER-C. Project was previously approved per the Planning Commission per case number 03-163, DR MUP CDP EIA, per resolution number PC 2004-012. This permit approved a 28,000 square foot building housing a 22,500 square foot retail store and 5,500 square foot restaurant with a 517 square foot outdoor dining patio with alcohol service. Project area is 1.32 acres as one legal parcel, and the existing land use is a multi-tenant commercial building. The proposed project is for a new restaurant with alcohol sales, ancillary brewery and distillery, inclusive of an expanded patio and other exterior facade improvements. Encinitas Brewery Company proposes to occupy the existing suite that was previously occupied by Islands Restaurant, which operated with a full alcohol license, ABC Type 47. This is an image of the site, location, and surrounding commercial uses, with Walmart to the west, Target to the south, and Carlsbad Forum Shops to the north. These commercial spaces include similar restaurant uses such as Casa de Bandini, Urban Plates, and other retail stores. The subject parcel is located west of El Camino Real between Lucadia Boulevard and Calle Barcelona. Vehicular and pedestrian access to the project site is provided by Lucadia Boulevard. The project site is located within the Encinitas Ranch specific plan area and is zoned commercial ER-C. The site is surrounded by developments within the same zone and with a similar commercial development, as well as open space to the south and east. The City of Carlsbad jurisdiction lies to the north. Application proposed project is for major use permit modifications to the restaurant interior layout, an expanded outdoor dining patio, modified operational characteristics, as well as a new type of alcohol license utilized for the new business. The project proposes a Type 23 ABC license for a small beer manufacturer and a Type 74 ABC license for a craft distiller for Encinitas Brewing Company. A parking study is proposed to demonstrate the proposed additional patio square footage for the expanded restaurant use will have sufficient parking within the shopping center. Design review permit is for the facade remodel of an existing commercial suite. The exterior facade remodel includes the addition of wood siding, a contemporary metal canopy element, repainting of existing stone veneer, retractable floor-to-ceiling glass doors, patio fencing, and new exterior lighting. Expansion of the outdoor dining patio will increase from 517 square feet to 1,240 square feet, and a second new 325 square foot patio will be added as well. This will also include minor landscape changes as part of this permit. Existing shrubs and potted plants will be removed from the site, as well as 2 existing queen palm trees. The expanded patio area will include new planters and the addition of 2 new queen palm trees, for a total of 3 queen palm trees within the patio area. The 2 other queen palm trees, one located at the northwest corner of the lot and the other at the rear in the southeast corner lot, will remain. The project also requires a coastal development permit for being in the coastal zone. This is a proposed site plan showing no structural changes to or the expansion of the exterior walls on the north, south, or east elevations. The west elevation is where most of the changes will occur, which includes the expanded outdoor dining patio. The existing walkway will be reduced in size but still maintain proper clearance for pedestrian access. The walkway will have a clearance of 8 feet from parking curb to patio gate and 6 feet of clearance to the planter. Additionally, the walkway dimension will be 4.5 feet from gate opening. Each planter will be 6 feet by 2 feet in dimension. Floor plans include both front of house operations, inclusive of both outdoor dining patios, dining room, tap room, bar, and restrooms. The back of house operations will include a cellar and brew house, kitchen, grain storage, utilities, to-go counter, and other associated improvements for the restaurant use. Seating will include both bar top seats, tables with individual chairs, as well as partial booth and bench seating. The project enhances the exterior facade in keeping with the Encinitas Ranch specific plan, Green Valley Planning Area Botanical Garden theme aesthetic of the shopping center by including the use of varying built-in colors and materials. Materials include stucco and repainting of stone veneer, the addition of vertical wood siding to the tower element and windows, a metal canopy element with potted plants, new planters, retractable floor-to-ceiling glass doors, patio fencing, and new exterior lighting. Operational characteristics are for the restaurant use with alcohol service and ancillary brewery and distillery use per ABC Type 23 and ABC Type 74 licenses. Food is to be served at all times during operating hours. No live entertainment is permitted. Background ambient music is allowed. Dining area will include 106 seats for the indoor use, 72 seats for the patio number 1, and 16 seats for patio number 2. Operations will be daily from 10 a.m. to 11 p.m. The ABC license types, Type 23 allows for the sale of beer to any person holding a license authorizing the sale of beer as wholesale, allows for the sale of beer to consumers for consumption on and off the manufacturer's premises. This includes on-site beer tasting and growler fills to be taken to go. May sell beer and wine, regardless of source, to consumers for consumption at a restaurant on the manufacturer's premises, may conduct beer tastings, and minors are allowed on the premises with this license. Type 74 also allows for the sale of distilled spirits to any person holding a license authorizing the sale of distilled spirits as wholesale, allows for the sale of distilled spirits to consumers for consumption on and off the manufacturer's licensed premises. This includes on-site distilled spirits tasting, may sell beer, wine, brandy, and distilled spirits, regardless of source, to consumers for consumption at a restaurant on the manufacturer's premises or contiguous to the manufacturer's licensed premises per a bona fide eating place. This project does propose a full-service restaurant in association with their ABC license. May conduct distilled spirit tastings, and minors are allowed on the premises as well. In regards to the parking study, pursuant to Encinitas Municipal Code Section 30.54.030, off-street parking, commercial centers over 100,000 square feet require one parking space per 200 square feet of gross floor area. The existing commercial center is approximately 146,919 square feet, which would require 736 parking spaces. The commercial center has an existing parking supply of 610 spaces. The patio will be expanded and separated into two areas. Patio number 1 will be a total of 1,240 square feet, and patio number 2 will be 325 square feet, for a total patio square footage of 1,565 square feet. A parking study was conducted to demonstrate that the added 1,048 square foot expansion would increase parking demand by 6 additional parking spaces, but would not exceed the parking demand of the commercial center. Per Encinitas Municipal Code Section 30.54030, the number of parking spaces required based on use is considered the minimum standard. However, the required number of parking spaces may be adjusted based on the results of site-specific parking study pursuant to 30.54020.k, demonstrating that with a deviation from the parking standard, the site provides adequate parking for all existing and proposed uses. Project submitted the site-specific parking study with adequate parking with existing and proposed uses proposed. The study concluded that there is a 44% demand of the existing parking supply based on data taken at peak hours. The existing buildings were constructed to the specifications of the previous approval at a maximum height of 34 feet, prior to the adoption of EMC Chapter 30.00.060. No changes to the height are proposed with the approval of this permit, except for new rooftop mechanical equipment, which will comply with the height limitations of 30 feet. Project complies with all applicable development code standards, such as setbacks, lot coverage, FAR, height, and complies with findings for a major use permit modification, design review permit, and a coastal development permit. The project has also been determined to be exempt from CEQA review per Section 15301E, exempts projects involving negligible or no expansion of an existing or former use, provided that the addition will not result in an increase of more than 10,000 square feet. All public services and facilities are available to the site to allow for the maximum development permissible, and the area in which the project is located is not environmentally sensitive. The Citizen Participation Program was held on August 18, 2025. There were no attendees and no comments were received. The public notices went out February 18, 2026, and no comments were received. Staff recommends that the Planning Commission adopt the draft resolution of approval based upon the findings in the staff report. This does conclude staff's presentation. I can answer any questions you may have, and the applicant is here as well tonight.
Okay, thank you very much. Are there any questions of the staff?
I have one,
Please.
a couple actually. In the site drawings that you showed, there's a sidewalk that will still be maintained in front of the patio that's pushed out, and it looked like there were some changes to the parking spaces. What about places for bikes?
I believe the bike racks are already existing on site. I'm not sure if they're exactly in front of the restaurant itself, but I do believe there are some bike racks along with the Walmart frontage. But we can definitely look into that and see if it could be added.
Okay, I was just curious about that as we're trying to push more bike-friendly. I can see people leaving their bikes along the walkway, causing a problem for pedestrians trying to walk through. So I think that would be worth looking at. And I wanted to confirm that all the grain storage and everything is inside the building itself and not outside. Often breweries will have, in commercial areas, they'll have a lot of the granary storage outside. And so this is all inside the building footprint?
Correct, yeah. So all the storage will be indoors along with the floor plan. There will be no outdoor storage permitted, and there will be no outdoor silo or storage container per se in relation with this business. So all the grain, all the manufacturing would take place indoors.
Okay, and then just one last question. Regarding the indoor seating and outdoor seating numbers that you gave, looked like it was getting close to 200. Any sense of how that compares to the previous location, the previous restaurant that was there in terms of increase in seating, or is it about the same, or don't know?
It's about the same. The outdoor patio number 1 is being expanded by a few hundred square feet. So that's a total of 72 seats for the outdoor patio. I'm not sure what the number was for islands, but in addition to patio number 2, that will be 16 seats added for an additional patio. But if the architect may have that information on hand, we can double check with them too and see if they're open to adding the bike rack as well.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Brent?
I had some questions regarding the alcohol license. We haven't seen too many of these types of license, and I was just curious if we had others in the city similar, and perhaps how many?
Are you, for the Type 23 brewery license?
Correct.
I think there's a couple breweries in town, no more than 3 or 4, I believe. So this would be one for this neighborhood or within this area. I believe there is a couple of breweries here in downtown Encinitas, and I think this is a 4th one in total for the city for the Type 23.
Just to clarify, I believe we have 1 or 2. One is Modern Times, which is downtown. Maybe Culture has a Type 23 too as well. But I believe those are the only 2 Type 23 licenses.
Thank you. And in that particular shopping center, do we have other establishments with licenses?
In the Walmart shopping center, this would be the only one, I believe, with alcohol uses. There is Enzo's Barbecue and Ale House across the street in the Target shopping center.
Thank you. And I also want to clarify a little bit on the pedestrian pathway in front of the proposed patios. I believe you said it was 8 feet from the edge of the curb to the edge of the patio. Is that correct?
Yeah, so 8 feet from the curb, parking curb, to
And
the
so
fence.
there's some planters in there, and it looked to me like there was proposals to have some gates that opened outwards.
Correct.
And so do we have a measurement of sort of like how much space there will be once the gate is opened outwards?
So it's roughly 4.5 feet from the curb to where the gate opens to on the image on your screen, just around this portion right here. I did check with the building official as well. As long as 4-foot clearance is maintained, that
Okay.
is acceptable.
Great, thank you.
No questions for me.
Okay, just a couple. Let's see. You've already covered the. Does Modern Brewery do they actually brew downtown, or is it just a tasting room?
I believe it's just a tasting room for Modern Times.
All right, so Commissioner Whitaker's comment is, do we have any other things like this? We don't have another, as far as you know, do we have another brewery in the city? Tasting room aside.
Yeah, not that has the brewery component within kind of the interior space. No,
Okay.
no, but that's similar license type, identical kind of license types.
Got it, okay. Let's see. Under the executive summary on page 2 of 79, this really goes to the parking ratios. well, actually, it's not here, but the parking ratios that you brought up. So the original permit required 700 stalls, but they only built 644. Can we go over the parking component? I appreciate the fact that they did a new study and they're only using a small portion of it. But I want to go back a little bit further, and you maybe can provide some clarification. When Walmart went in, they were not allowed to use the entire building where Home Expo was. And I think they had to make the building smaller, and they left some area open, and I think that had to do with parking. And then going forward, I think Walmart's now expanded in using all of the building. Does that change the parking? And is there a difference between the parking count for a retail center, retail component, and a restaurant component? I thought there was a different obligation of number of stalls for food and beverage versus just straight up retail. I just want some clarification on all of that.
So you're correct. The Walmart, it is fully open. So it was kind of a phased project. So the first phase, they did a parking study. They had separated out, I think it was like about 15,000 square feet or so on one side, and didn't use that. And then later came back through an updated parking study to kind of amend that. So that is fully open.
Okay.
And then in terms of the ratio, there's really one standard for within the Encinitas Ranch specific plan, and it's just the 200, and that would include inclusive of all uses based on a shopping center that's more than 100,000 square feet.
So for clarification, basically, they're non-conforming per the original requirement. They have a smaller amount of parking spaces, and even within that 600 plus parking stalls, they're only seeing it based on the LLG engineer's report, about 44% of those existing stalls are being used for the current uses.
That's accurate. Correct.
There's a rumor going around that there might be a grocer going into the site next door where the REI was. So in the calculations that you're considering, are you considering what the future use might be for the shop next door as part of your review of the calculations to make sure that you have enough? I think you have enough, but I just want to make sure that we're not looking at just this as a static situation, and that at some point in time, the REI shop store is going to be filled with a new use.
Yeah, so the parking ratio was 1 space per 200 square feet for the entire shopping center. The parking study did take into account a retailer at just basic retail parking ratio of 1 per 200.
Right.
Whether it's a retail store like REI or a grocer,
Doesn't matter.
yeah, it's
Okay.
It's the same count.
Right. So we're incorporating the future use of the space next door as part of the review.
Correct.
Perfect. Thank you. I may have one more. The parking was a big one. Appreciate you guys doing a new study. And under the license, is it the Encinitas City Code that they have to provide food while serving alcohol, or is that an ABC requirement?
So the ABC does require the bona fide restaurant with the ABC Type 23 and Type
Right.
74. If they wanted to be operating as a different, just a brewer with a taster or a bar, that would be a different type of license. But this restaurant portion component of it would be applicable to the site for the permits that they're requesting.
Okay, so they'll be serving, net, they'll be serving food.
Correct.
While they're serving alcohol.
Yes.
And in your bullet, I wasn't quite clear, are they allowed to sell distilled spirits and have those spirits removed from site, just like filling a growler? So if they're brewing a distilled spirit, I can buy it and take it home?
Correct. So whatever is manufactured on site can be sold wholesale or retail to the consumers on site. So if they want to sell to distributors, that's allowed. If they want to sell it to the on-site consumer and they want to take a 6-pack of whatever they've produced on-site home, that's allowed as well.
Okay.
But it wouldn't allow for other brands to be brought to the site and used as off-sale.
Got it. So they can sell their product and I can take it home, but I can't buy another
Like
product.
Budweiser or Coors.
I can't buy
Yeah,
Budweiser and
correct.
take it home.
Right.
Okay.
Could you remind us too of the hours of operation?
It's 10 a.m. to 11 p.m. daily.
And then on page 11 of 79, you talk about other restaurants in the area. Just want to make sure you mention a couple restaurants that aren't in the city of Encinitas. You mentioned Casa de Bandini, and you mentioned Urban Plates. Those are actually in Carlsbad. Just want to,
Right.
okay. They are in the area, but they're not in our city.
Yeah, that was just as a reference point.
Oh, I appreciate that. On the drawings of the site, there's, on the patio, I believe the wall is 3 feet. I think it's the wooden slat wall that opens up the patio. When Board and Brew came, we requested a higher wall, and I guess the question from staff is clarification. What is the requirement of that wall that surrounds the patio? The patio height wall.
It's just a standard railing height. ABC actually doesn't have a standard. The city, though, does want that area to be enclosed, just a standard railing height, which is typically 42 inches in height.
Okay, 42, but I think it shows 36.
12, I think it's 3 feet.
36 inches.
Yeah.
Am I wrong? It says 42? Okay. Well, they're here, so they can always answer the question, but it looks like it showed 3 feet. So I just want to make sure that that's code.
Typically, it's just a railing. We don't have an objective standard that identifies that it has to be a particular height. We usually typically just want it enclosed and ensure that kind of alcohol serving area is fully kind of enclosed
Okay.
with a railing fence, that type of thing.
If we made Board and Brew build a higher one, I kind of want to make sure that we're consistent. Maybe if it'd be possible for you to look at other, if you're saying there's no code requirement that has to be a certain height, then I'm a little confused on why we made another applicant build a higher wall.
Let's make that a deliberation between the
Okay, sorry.
commissioners.
All right, thank you for that question, answer. And then, in terms of breweries, they use a significant amount of water, and they also produce a significant amount of waste. Is there anything in our approval process that requires the applicant to have the necessary approvals from wherever they're going to get their water, and also the efflues that gets produced, the wet malt and all those kinds of things, is part of their application? Do we need to, or is that just something that they're going to have to figure out for themselves?
They would have to figure out through themselves, but also does go through the health department too, as part of the overall kind of restaurant use.
So
But-
their discharge would just be up to their negotiations with the water district or the sewer. I'm on septic, so I don't have that. So I'm assuming that there's the sewer district that has to deal with this.
Correct.
Saleo.
Through the building construction permit, they would need approval from the water district.
Okay.
Associated agencies.
That's it.
Okay, thank you very much. I see the applicant is here. Would you like to address the commission?
All right. My name is Brian McBride. I am one of the partners in Encinitas Brewing Company. So there's 4 primary general partners. One of them lives in Carlsbad, but the other 3 live in Encinitas. 2 of us have had restaurants previously in Encinitas. Our kids go to school in Encinitas. We play sports. So when we were trying to figure out a name, we kind of went back and forth on how we were gonna. We just came up with a regular name, but there is something about having the city's name in the name of the business that creates a little bit of, I don't know, a desire to treat it well and show that Encinitas has a broad amount of things that they do well already, and we can add to that. The idea behind the name can kind of be misleading in a sense, we're a restaurant first. That if it was just a brewery, I wouldn't be a part of it. Probably none of us would. We wouldn't be doing it. So the reason that we're doing it is for the community, for the food, for bringing groups together, families together. And as an ancillary part of that, we have an amazing brewer and we have somebody that knows brewing really, really well. And so that just adds kind of a really fun local element to it. So you'll see us representing the town, the people, the community in a very uplifting way. We're not like, I mean, we're all middle-aged guys with kids, you know what I mean? Like, so we're excited to be a part of this. And when the opportunity came around, we were kind of shocked. I mean, Islands is, I mean, I liked Islands, RIP Islands, but that center's a little weird, but I think it works great for what we're trying to do. And parking is amazing. To be honest, I know you have to do the reviews, but like we kind of drive through it all the time as we're just out and about. And I mean, I've never seen it more than maybe 30% full. So, and there was a couple other questions that I heard you guys say that I was trying to remember what was one of the questions that you mentioned?
Bike parking was one of them.
Parking, but bike. I think there are some bike racks there, to be honest, right now. But biking is like that's not like a big. Like we'd be happy to make sure that piece is set up if that from that standpoint. But there was something else too I want to say that maybe you asked also.
Is it okay for me to speak? Yeah, I asked about all of your granary storage and everything being inside.
Oh,
because
right, yep.
What I've seen at other brewery locations, they're more in commercial areas, but a lot of times they have a lot of stuff in the back outside, and it's unattractive. I mean, this property backs up on a open space, so it's probably not a big deal. So I was just kind of curious about what your plans were with that, because it is, it's a restaurant, it's not kind of an industrial space.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, so everything's going to be inside. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. If there's anything that you want, if you have any other questions or concerns or whatever it might be.
I don't see any, oh, Brent, do you have one?
Yeah, I was curious about the patio and its use. There's some gates. Are you anticipating having customers enter through those gates or exit through those gates?
It's more of an exit. I think it's even like fire related, but yeah, not so much entering. I mean, we're not going to like tell somebody they can't go in, but the purpose is to go in through the main door and then do your thing and end up on the patio. Okay. And that's just more of if you need to leave, you don't have to go back through the restaurant. Okay. And I think it was occupancy, that's what it was. So we took a good chunk of seating space for the actual brewery. And so from an occupancy standpoint, I mean, I can't remember exactly offhand, but it was very close, or we might have even lost a couple seats, even with our patio being expanded, because we took up a big chunk of seating area for where the actual facility is going to be.
Mike?
It looks to me like you changed the bar configuration. You went with a straight bar instead of the square bar.
Correct. Yeah.
Was there a reason for that, or is there room for the tap room?
It was kind of to add some other types of seating, and I've never been into an Islands when it was empty, but like the canopy or the palapa kind of thing that's like a legit construction. That thing would have held up 2 more stories, but so we just reconfigured it to kind of fit more of what our design elements were, and we couldn't really bank out and kind of do some of the other seating that we wanted to do. So that's why.
Okay, thank you very much.
Hey, you're welcome. Thanks. Congratulations on joining the committee.
Mm-hmm.
Great choice for a name of a business as well.
Yeah, you bet.
Are there any members of the public that submitted?
No speakers.
Okay, seeing none.
I've got one more question for staff.
Okay.
Or do you close anything? Oh, come on up.
If you'd like to address the commission, please.
And then you can just fill out a slip afterwards.
Okay, good. Hi, Doug D'Amico, resident here for the past 40 years. Old Encinitas, had a business downtown the street for 35 years, mom and pop shop, still going, good. Boy, we needed a brewery for many, many years, and I don't know why we don't have one. We had one in the late 80s, the Copper Kettle, if you remember right. German brewer, first-class operation. Well, guess what happened? I think the new Encinitas sucked all the energy over the hill there. So we don't know what happened. But Over the years, Charlie and I, Charlie Sue, yes, God rest his soul, we were talking about opening up a brewery for years. I'm a beer aficionado. I've been a home brewer for many years. Steve Wagner and with Greg Koch of Stone and Peter Zion from AleSmith, that was the early 90s. Well, they took off and opened up their own breweries, but I was running a ship down here, couldn't do it. But we don't know why Encinitas didn't have a brewery, so something about it. We only have one, and that's Fox Point Farms. They got around the situation by being a manufacturer of hops, I believe. They got around that situation, but we still don't have a brewery. Those guys down there, Duckfoot Brewing Company, those are all tasting rooms. So we don't have a manufacturing brewery yet, except for Fox Point Farms. We needed one, and this is not going to be a brew pub. It's going to be a gastro pub. The way the diagrams and the way that they're going to do it, it's all first class. I haven't tried their beer, I haven't tried their food yet, but it looks like it's going to happen, and it's been needed. So consider it.
Okay, thank you for coming tonight. No? Okay, with that, I'm going to close the public comment portion of the meeting and open it up to commissioner deliberation. Typically, I might start down at the end and ask Commissioner Quinn if you have any initial thoughts.
No initial thoughts.
Okay. Commissioner Campbell?
I think it's a good use of the space. You know, that shopping center's been somewhat desolate for a while, so I think it is attractive. I appreciate that the operations are inside the building instead of outside. I think it would be worth looking at making sure we have spaces for bike parking so it's attractive and not in front of the building itself. But overall, I think it would be a benefit to this community.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm very supportive as well. I appreciated the name of the city involved in the development. I like the outdoor seating. Of course, I had some concerns logistically about the gates opening outwards. We've had issues with that with pedestrian paths before, and I after reviewing the plans and seeing that there were some planters involved in the particular area, I think I felt comfortable with the plans as they were proposed. And so I don't really have any recommendations as far as changing that. I do share the sentiments that the bike racks should be well-placed and abundant. Instead of a parking plan, we should have a bicycling plan.
Okay.
But yeah, no, I'm happy to support this, so look forward to it.
Okay.
Same. I applaud you guys for coming up and putting something together in the community that we can all get behind. I'm there often, and I remember the family that owned Islands and was sad that he passed. And the family was an active group in the community too. So I'm glad to see more locals coming back and bringing something similar or just bringing that family activity back, and I wish you the best of luck. With regard to the other comments from the other commissioners, there are a couple bike racks in front of the REI, but there's not to say that those don't go away with a new tenancy. So I appreciate you guys considering adding that, because there are people that might ride their e-bikes. Hopefully they can make it home. Nonetheless, there are people that do ride their bikes in the community, and I think that'd be a great addition. I don't know if it's code, but if you guys could work with the staff to come up with some ideas for that, that would be awesome. There should be some space somewhere in your general area to be able to do that. It doesn't have to be out front, but I guess you guys can work that out. But I'm looking forward to supporting you and visiting you guys on opening night. Look forward to seeing you guys there. So good luck, and thank you.
Okay, and I'll echo the same sentiment. I'm glad to see someone filling that space. It should be a restaurant or a brewery, and I like your connection to Encinitas, and I hope it succeeds beyond your expectations. I support as well the bike racks. I think that's an important component. And if we were to make a motion to approve this with a condition that bike racks be verified or added, I think we should maybe be somewhat specific about how many bike racks or bikes we expect to be parked there. I don't know. Well, I don't know if there is a code requirement, but
Since it's not new construction or restaurant, technically, there's not a requirement to add bike racks. However, if the applicant is amenable to adding those, it'd be helpful just to specify how many bikes you would want in front of the restaurant or adjacent to the restaurant. And we could work in terms of actual location through construction permits.
So I don't want to necessarily add a burden to the applicant to solve all the bike problems or whatever. I do, and I'd be comfortable with a gentleman's agreement but to say, hey, we're concerned about bikes, and if you're able to add a bike rack for 4 bikes or 6 bikes, I think that would be an appropriate number to me.
Agreed.
Yeah, I think 6 sounds
'Kay.
good, but yeah.
I was going to even
with some-
say 2 or 3 bike racks,
Yeah, you can double up and.
not count the number of bikes, but 2 or
Okay.
3 bike racks.
Okay. Good. So maybe we could make a motion. I'll let someone
Approve
make
the
a motion.
resolution with the suggestion, I mean, do you put it in the resolution?
I think so. I mean, it just puts it out there that we'd
Sure.
like to see 6 bikes or bike racks for 3 bike racks.
To accommodate 6 bikes, up
Yeah.
to 6
Yeah.
bikes or more?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
I would support that. I don't know how the
Okay.
word works, but.
I'll move to approve the project with the suggestion to add bike racks, at least 3 bike racks with the space to fit up to 6 bikes.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Okay. Let's call the vote. All right, that passes 5-0. Congratulations. I hope you're one step closer to opening.
Just need to find a place for the bike rack.
Yeah. Okay, sorry. Our next item is future agenda items added by planning commissioners. Are there any future agenda items?
No, I'm still on the hook for the dark skies ordinance, so
Okay.
I'm working on that.
What I might do is open up, since we have 2 new commissioners, we do have one subcommittee at the moment to explore dark skies. It's a subcommittee of 1, and it would be open if anybody else was interested in participating in that, you should be aware of it.
Can you tell me a little bit about what that is, what its scope is?
The scope is in the area, Liebenhain has a dark sky, but it's not as dark sky overlay, I'm not quite sure the right word, but it's not covering the entire city. So my objective is to help come up with solutions and look at other cities across the state of California that have dark sky ordinances and propose to staff a review of that. So it's on our work plan with the city council that we come up with a citywide dark skies program.
It doesn't have to be tonight. All right, well, welcome again. That we kind of bridged into planning commission reports, but are there any reports? I don't think so. Oh,
A couple weeks ago, there was an resource management meeting that Patty ran. I forgot to tell everybody last week that I went.
okay.
And it was attended by about 6 people and a consultant as they start to work on their resource management plan. Is that correct, Megan, the right phrase?
It's a resource management element plan, so it's one of the elements of our general plan, but you're correct.
Element plan. It's the element part.
Okay, are there any secretary reports?
No, other than I will intend on bringing back the Planning Commission work plan to provide an update on progress and clarity on some items when we have a free agenda, and I have a moment to work on that.
Okay. Okay, with that, I'm going to adjourn tonight's meeting until the next regular planning commission meeting on March 19th. And with that, we're done.